We are hearing Bhagavad Gita. Now chapter 4 is starting Jnana Yoga, or the principle of spiritual knowledge. Summary: when religion is perverted and irreligion prevails in the name of religion, and when the sadhus are persecuted by men of demoniac character while propagating the doctrine of divine love, then the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna manifests his descent in the mundane plane to protect the sadhus, destroy the demons, and re-establish the eternal religion of divine love. Those who actually realize his descents and his divine deeds are released from the thraldom of Maya and are not born again. You see here, this Maharaj also used this word, descents, for avatars. Sometimes the word incarnation is used, but our Gurudev did not like it as appropriate, because incarnation is used for ordinary jivas also. They are incarnated, they enter into matter, into meat, and then they are reincarnated in next body. But or in Christianity they say God in the meat, that is Jesus, God in the meat, like incarnation, incarna. But for avatar of Supreme Lord, he is not entering into any meat, and also not by the fruits of some past activities. That is totally different. He comes in his spiritual form when at that time by his grace is visible to all, by his grace. But not all are recognizing him. But here it is said that one who can realize his descent, means avatars, and his divine deeds, they are not ordinary deeds, are released from the thraldom of Maya and are not born again. By acquiring true knowledge of the self and of Godhead, a person is purified, his passions are checked, and he is devoted to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna by taking absolute shelter in him, and he attains unalloyed spiritual bliss in the spiritual realm. The Lord deals in the manner in which he is dealt with. In other words, the spirit with which the Lord is approached is reciprocated by him. Jnana Yoga, or the spiritual knowledge of the relationship between the soul and the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, brings about freedom from all sins and destroys the polluting effects of selfish actions, means karma, that will be destroyed. This transcendental knowledge is to be acquired from those who are well versed in this knowledge and have actually realized the absolute truth by submissive spirit, honest inquiry after truth, T capital means absolute truth, and obedient temperament. This is pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. It puts an end to all doubts, prejudices, and ignorance. And then one becomes a fully liberated soul. There is nothing holier in this world than transcendental knowledge regarding one's own self and the Supreme Lord, which needs to be acquired as the fruit of Nishkama Karma Yoga. He who performs Nishkama Karma Yoga with firm faith, senses controlled, and steadfast attachment for the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, ere long attains the eternal bliss. So now, first verse of this chapter, Shri Bhagavan Uvach. Imam vivasvate jogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manur ikshva kave bravit. The Supreme Lord said, I taught this eternal knowledge to the Sun God. The Sun God taught Manu, and Manu said this to Ikshvaku. Explanation. The Blessed Lord said, I taught this eternal Jnana Yoga, the consummation of the consecrated Nishkama Karma Yoga, at first to my disciple Vivasvan, the Sun God, who taught the same to his son Manu, who again taught this immortal Jnana Yoga to his son Ikshvaku by virtue of lineage. That is, by parampara. So the fruit of Nishkama Karma Yoga is this knowledge, transcendental knowledge will be revealed. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu saka lenechamahata yogonashtach parantapa. O Arjuna, the tormentor of enemies, the royal saints received this knowledge, thus handed down in preceptorial line of succession. This knowledge is lost in this world through long ages. Explanation. And thus it, means Jnana Yoga, was handed down through Amnaya, that is to say, through the preceptorial line of succession to the royal saints. O Parantapa, means slayer of foes, Arjuna. Now, this Jnana Yoga is lost to mankind by the ruthless passage of time, that is to say, obliterated by the various pseudo-sects. Evaya maya tedya yogah proktah puratana bhaktosime sakacheti rahasyam hyetat uttamam. This day, the self-same eternal knowledge is taught by me to you. As you are my devotee and friend, this essential secret knowledge is spoken to you. This is important because he is a devotee, means he surrendered to Krishna. Then Krishna can give this knowledge. To unsurrendered soul cannot give. Means he will not be willing to give. That is another like Kripa Siddhi, that is different thing. But it is given to someone who is surrendered. Explanation. Now, the self-same eternal and blissful Jnana Yoga I have once more declared to you this day, as you are my loyal devotee and faithful friend. Bear this confidential yoga in mind, as this is the essence or the secret of all doctrines inculcated in the Vedas. Arjuna Uvach. Aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvataha katam etad vijaniyam tvam ado proktavam iti. Arjuna queried, O Krishna, the birth of Vivasvan was much earlier than thy birth, which is much later. How am I then to understand that thou didst declare this yoga to him at first? Bhagavan Uvach. Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava charjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam veda parantapa. The Supreme Lord replied, O Arjuna, many births of yours as well as mine are past. I remember them all, but you do not. Explanation. The blessed Lord replied, O Arjuna, many a birth did you and I leave behind. As Supreme Lord, I exactly remember them all, but you, O Parantapa, have forgotten them all. When I make my descent in this world, you too, as my Parshad, means constant associate, appear with me to show to the world the divine nature of my deeds. As omniscient Supreme Lord, I can remember them exactly, while you, being an anuchit, means spiritual atomic part, cannot. Here, though Krishna is saying, I had many births and you also had many births. But here, Krishna's birth is not ordinary birth. Later on, he will explain that his birth is divine. It is lila only. It is not like birth of conditioned soul due to his karma of past life. He is forced to take certain birth. Krishna is never forced to take birth. He is willingly doing that pastime, and also he is not taking birth in any material body. He only does the lila, spiritual lila. And it is also true for personal associates of Krishna. It is same. They are also not taking material birth and force by some force. And here, but here Arjuna is playing the pastime of like a conditioned soul. So Krishna says, you are anuchit, you are a small particle of consciousness. So you are unable to remember. But even we who are minutest spiritual particles, even we can remember our past life if Krishna shows them to us. In that way it is possible, not independently of Krishna. But if he wills, if it is necessary, then he can tell you about your past lives, or he can show you also very clearly what you did and all these things. So God is omniscient, but we are not. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim svam adhishtaya sambhavam yatma mayaya. Though I am unborn and unchangeable, and though I am the Lord of all the universe, I make my descent with the help of my own potency and through the agency of the enlightening energy. Explanation. Although all of you have births and deaths, and I have my descents in this world, yet there is a great gulf of difference between your births and my descents, because I make my descent through the agency of my Yogamaya, the enlightening potency, while the fallen souls come into existence under the influence of my Mahamaya, the insuperable deluding potency. So here it is as if Arjuna is a conditioned soul, because to give us teaching, but for his personal associates when he descends, then all like those who are Sakas in Krishna Lila, they descend like, or Rupa Goswami like this, they are also coming by Yogamaya. They are not at any time, they are not under Mahamaya. Impossible. We may see like that, but it is not so. It is true for Krishna and for his all personal associates. But we conditioned souls who are averse to Krishna, we have to come under Mahamaya. And there is a gulf of difference between us and them. I manifest my own eternal, beautiful human form out of my infinite kindness for the fallen souls and out of my own accord through the agency of Yogamaya, my own internal controlling potency. But the conditioned souls are born under the influence of Mahamaya, my external deluding potency, which deprives them of the recollections of their previous births. That is why we cannot remember. By the law of karma, the rebirth into the world of a fallen soul in some form is inevitable in order to satiate the desires of his mind left unsatisfied in his previous births. In other words, fallen souls are born and reborn on account of their minds being full of enjoying mood. That is why one cannot attain transcendental realm as long as any other desire remains. Only when one is completely purified and has only one desire, only the service of Krishna, then he can enter into transcendental realm. But not like in that once I will die, then after dying I will go there because I was devotee. No, like in Christianity, they have only one trial, one life. If you are devoted to God, then after you die, you will go to God. If you are not, you are doing sinful activities, then you will go to hell eternally. Only one trial is there. But it is, in reality, is not so. So even one may be devotee, he may chant and he may do sadhana, all this. But if he is not fully purified of all samskaras, anarthas, all this, then he will take another birth. But he will take his devotion, what he did, he will take in that life and he will continue from there and he will get facility and like this. But it may take more lives. It is not like this life I took initiation, so now I'm devotee. So when I will die, I will go to Goloka. It is not necessary. It can be possible if one attains that desireless state, nishkama, only desire to serve Krishna. And also I heard from that astrologer who was seeing that thing, she said that they can also see what were the reasons why we were born again. They can see due to this desire. Here Krishna is telling, because you did not satiate some of your desire, you did not fulfill, and you still have that desire, for that reason you will have to be born. So the astrologers, those who are good, they can also see this. What was the reason? And Srila Bhakti Hridaya Goswami Maharaj also wrote in his book that in previous life he was already sannyasi, but due to some disagreement with his guru, in past life, he had to be born again. And he said that same tendency came in this life also. He had some disagreement with Prabhupada, and he was regretting, repenting. Then he rectified that and prayed for forgiveness and all this, and Prabhupada was merciful to him, and like this. Of course, we don't know whether this was lila of being a sadhaka to give us teaching, or it really was. But anyway, the teaching is there that if there is something unsolved in this world, some desire or something, then you will have to be born again. But sadhakas, though they may not maybe finish complete course in one life, still nothing is lost. And there is eternity time. So what is few lives in comparison with eternity? And what fruit is that? That is eternal fruit. So we should not be disheartened or discouraged. We only have to do sadhana as per guidance of Guru sincerely. Even if we die in between, we don't know when we will die, nothing will be lost. We will take that with us and we'll advance from there. So we should not be concerned about that and all these things. We should be concerned with our duty, with our practice, that we go on serving as per Guru's order, and we will progress. Yes, so in other words, fallen souls are born and reborn on account of their minds being full of enjoying mood. But it is only out of my free will that I sometimes make my descents among the gods and lower animals. That is like Varaha or Matsya, Kurma, they are animals, and gods like Baman. Like that of the fallen souls, my transcendental beautiful human form is never enveloped by either a subtle or gross body, because my divine personality is one and the same with my body, mind and soul, a fact which is quite different in the case of a fallen soul whose body, mind and soul differ from one another. So we are enveloped by gross and subtle body, and they are material. But Krishna is not like that when he descends in this world, fully spiritual, and everything about him is same with him. Even our spiritual body, jiva, when attains spiritual form, that is also undivided tattva. It is same. Your hand, spiritual hand, is not different from you. It is not like one part or something. It is all spiritual. It is one. Out of my divine power and prerogative, I can easily manifest my eternal, beautiful human form with my own blissful realm in the mundane plane without the least possible change or fault wrought by the limitations of time and space, because he has that achintya shakti, he is omnipotent, inconceivable power. So our logic may not agree, or our eyes may not see, but that is our limitation. Like we see Krishna is a small boy. But how is it that Jashoda could not bind him with the rope which was much larger than his belly? According to our vision, if we see that rope and see Krishna, it is longer How it is possible? Then she cannot tie. And again she's tying another rope, and again every time 2 fingers short. How is this possible? Krishna is omnipotent. So he does not come under any kind of limitation of this material time, space and nothing. He appears like that. So those who are logicians, they cannot understand. And those who are only depending on their material senses, they are also not able to recognize who is Krishna. Only through devotion one can see that that is different. Krishna is different. And even if someone does not recognize him, he is judging by material senses and by logic and intellect, and he may have many conclusions about Krishna, all wrong, still that does not change Krishna's nature. Like Hiranyakashipu thought, this is some strange animal, I will kill him. He thought like that because of his wrong vision. But that does not mean that Nrisingha is not God. He killed him, and Hiranyakashipu had to realize that he is not ordinary some animal. And Kamsa also thought, I am such a powerful king, what one small boy Krishna can do to me. And he also engaged other like big wrestlers and that mad elephant to kill Krishna and so many demons, but he could not kill small Krishna. Because Krishna is always Krishna, no one can change. And he's omnipotent. So even though we may not recognize, that does not change the reality. We are not making the reality. We can only perceive reality correctly or wrongly, according to our attitude. But Krishna is unchallengeable truth. No one can change the truth. That is why also those who are realized soul, they can see the Siddhanta. Because truth is truth. They can see the Siddhanta and they can speak the Siddhanta. Conclusion. No one, by any amount of word jugglery or whatever they want to put by logic and this scriptural evidence and so many things they may cook, manufacture something, that will never change the truth. And even if someone does not, like, academically study about the Siddhanta like this, if he does bhajan sincerely under the guidance of bona fide Guru, he will realize everything, all Siddhanta, without reading any books or hearing like this. And he will have actual knowledge, perfect Siddhanta. And even someone who is very learned in all scriptures, he may not recognize that actually he's speaking what the Shastra is saying. He does not understand. He thinks he's understanding, but he's not. That person, we heard that story about Ramdas. He knew about Bhagavatam, no any Sanskrit shloka, nothing, but he realized what is Bhagavatam, that is Krishna Seva. That is why he could enlighten the mind of that person who came to him with what is real Bhagavat. So there is no fault by the limitations of time and space when Krishna comes. If you ask, how can transcendental personality with the blissful kingdom make his descent within the 4 walls of time and space? The answer is this. My potency, Yogamaya, is inconceivable to the limited human intelligence and therefore beyond all your mental speculations. No amount of human reasoning, however clever, is competent enough to comprehend and measure my works. Today one devotee, he was seeing some topic going on. Then he said that topic is beyond my intelligence. Then I told him that topic is beyond everyone's intelligence. because that is beyond intelligence. Intelligence has no entrance capacity to understand that. That is transcendental knowledge. It is only revealed to a surrendered soul as per degree of his submission. But if there is no submission by any power of intellect, you may be intellectual giant, our Gurudev said. You cannot get anything what is there. Nothing, zero, with intellect. It is only through submission it will be revealed. So here Krishna says, that is my inconceivable power. You cannot, that is beyond your all your thinking, speculation, intellect, all this. So far as your intuitive knowledge goes, that is realized knowledge, you may come to this conclusion that I, the all-powerful Supreme Lord, with all my inconceivable potencies, as well as my entourage and kingdom, do not submit to any human sense experience or man-made rules and regulations. If I will, I can manifest myself with all my entourage as I really am, by virtue of my inconceivable power in this phenomenal world, or I can transform this physical world into a spiritual kingdom. Everything is possible for him. That is why, and he's everywhere and he's omnipotent, and at once he can do everything. That is why those who are surrendered and those who take shelter of Krishna, they have no fear and they are always protected from Maya. That is the only way we have to practice this Sharanagati. That is the only solution. Because if I will, he can do everything. If I will, I can do this. He can do everything. So those who take shelter of him, they will be protected. Like Gajendra or that lady, she was attacked, or so many, all examples. Whoever will take shelter, he will be protected, rescued. But we need Sukriti to come to such decision. As Gajendra, he decided, I will take shelter of all powerful Supreme Lord. To come to such decision, we need Sukriti. This is my absolute divine characteristic. Therefore, what doubt is there to believe that my transcendental Satchit Ananda Vigraha is beyond the scope of human understanding and mundane rules and regulations, and that I can make my descent in this plane of the three dimensions, retaining my entire divinity, glory and power, unhampered and unimpaired in the least. The potency with which the fallen souls are deluded is my external deluding Mayic potency, known as Mahamaya. But the internal, all-controlling, self-effulgent and enlightening potency is known as Yogamaya, inseparably associated with me. As a matter of fact, my potency is one without a second and inconceivable, and that is Yogamaya, the principal agent that assists me in my transcendental revels, means pastimes, and guides my true devotees in rendering their loving service to me. Mahamaya, the perverted aspect of Yogamaya. The potency is one, but according to function, there is difference. Like we are using electricity, you can use electricity to heat something or to cool something according to the usage. So according to Jiva's disposition, if she is inclined to serve Krishna, she will be under Yogamaya. But if averse to Krishna, she will come under Mahamaya. So Mahamaya is the perverted aspect of Yogamaya. She enthralls the fallen souls with her three qualities, and means triguna, and forces them to rotate in the cycle of births and rebirths on account of their abuse of free will and their forgetfulness of their real self and of me. She is not forcing us in that sense that we are forced to. No. When you become averse to Krishna, then you come under the influence of her due to your own fault, abuse of free will, and then she's forcing you to go on in this worldly existence. But original fault is on us. We made that mistake. That is why we were caught. And once you correct your mistake, you become inclined to serve Krishna, then Maya will immediately give you up. And even she will assist you in the service of Krishna. Because she is also a devotee of Krishna. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir-bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami juge juge. This is compassion of Krishna. O Bharata, whenever there is slandering of religion and prevalence of irreligion, I manifest myself in this mundane plane. I make my descent in all the ages for the protection of the devotees, for the destruction of the demons, and for the re-establishment of religion. Explanation. O Bharata, whenever religion is scoffed at or slandered, scoffed at, I don't understand, but my phone is not working properly. Not working. 1 second, I will put here. English. Or scoffed. I'm not sure. I have some clopper. Means something is when religion is scoffed at or slandered. Slander, that I understand. And irreligion prevails in the name of religion, I descend. That is, I manifest my own eternal beautiful human form in the mundane plane of my own accord in every age in order to protect my devotees destroy the demons, and re-establish Sanatan Dharma, the eternal religion of divine love, cleansed of all worldly dross. Dross in Slovenian means ostruški, that is impurities, and I try to find the scoffed meaning. Speak to someone or about something in scornfully derisive or mocking way. Yes, mock, ridicule, like this. Means speak bad. Or like, so whenever religion is scoffed at or slandered, anti-religion prevails, then he comes to re-establish. Such is the law of my descent or avatar. I am all will, A and W capital. I am all will, and I descend when I will. My laws relating to this world are inviolable. When the divine law or religion is stigmatized or distorted, when the gods or godlike souls are persecuted by the demons or demoniac characters, and when irreligion or sinful or ungodly principles of the latter predominate in the name of religion, it is then that I manifest myself in the world out of my own divine prerogative through the agency of my Yogamaya, and remove those stigmas cast upon the eternal religion commonly known as Sanatan Dharma, to which Deva Varna Ashram Dharma is a stepping stone. So like when either he comes or he sends his own person, like after the disappearance of Mahaprabhu, when in the name of Mahaprabhu they are doing nonsense, then he sent Bhaktivinoda Thakur, whose commentary we are reading, that he can send and they will show what is the reality. So this Deva Varna Ashram Dharma, Deva means that qualities and work is considered to determine what one is, like Kshatriya, Brahmana, or this, and he has to do then those duties, not according to birth or by some voting or something. No, it is by natural qualities and tendency for certain work. If he follows then the duties laid down by the scriptures for his own Varna and Ashrama, that is a stepping stone to come to Sanatan Dharma, literary Sanatan Dharma, that is Jeva Dharma, eternal religion, which is Atma serving Supreme Lord from his real self. Otherwise, Varna Ashram Dharma is sometimes also called Sanatan Dharma. Gurudev explained in the sense because it leads to Sanatan Dharma. It is a stepping stone. None but myself can remove those distortions in religion. His power means he can do, or one whom he empowers, means only Yogamaya or Swarup Shakti, those who have that empowerment, they can remove those distortions. Otherwise, it is impossible. When truth comes, then untruth has to go away. When light comes, then darkness goes away. Otherwise, it is impossible. So none but myself can remove these distortions in religion. And none than he himself or his personal associate, bona fide guru, can give us perfect guidance. No one else. We cannot guide ourselves, others cannot guide. That is why we should not rely on others, nor on ourselves, or on anything. We have to submit to Gurudev and Krishna, and they will guide us what will be for our eternal welfare. I descend not only in India, but also elsewhere. I descend among the gods, means demigods, the Yavanas, and the lower animals. I also descend among the Yavanas as Shaktyabesh avatar, according to their eligibility to comprehend the eternal religion as their Swadharma, though not without imperfect conclusion. But as this Swadharma, yes, this Yavanas means here. So that is why Jesus is considered a Shakti Avesh avatar, empowered by God. Also Muhammad, prophet, is, whenever you pronounce the name Prophet Muhammad, you have to say, peace be on him. In Muslim religion, that is nice. They're having, it is a rule. Whenever you mention the name of him, you have to say this, peace be upon him. Means with some respect you should, and with some devotion you should utter his name. Like when we utter the name of our Gurudev or any like devotee, then we should with respect, like for Gurudev, Om Vishnupad, and Srila means endowed with all beauty and all opulences, like this. You should not like directly just utter the name, but with some respect that is proper. That is why you have to say Srila this Maharaj or something, Srila Janardhan Maharaj. So according to the status, but it should be respectful. So Muhammad and Jesus, they are also considered the Shakti Vaishavatar, those who got empowerment from Supreme Lord to preach about God consciousness according to eligibility of those, but though not without imperfect conclusion. That is not final conclusion. It is some installment of truth, gradual. That is why in Christianity you will not find about reincarnation. They're saying only one life. So if you do good works, you will go to heaven eternally. If you do bad works, you will go to hell eternally. So it is good, they will try to do good. But in reality, it is many lives, and also they are not accepting that other living entities, they also have souls. They think animals, they don't have souls. And like some imperfections are there, because not possible to tell them everything at once, but they gave some conception of God, and that you should be devoted to him, and for that, according to their eligibility, they are propagating, but they are empowered by same God. Like in school, in one teacher may be teaching in first class ABCD, but that does not mean that he himself knows only ABCD, but he has to teach according to them. So like that here, they were sent by God, empowered by God to do that work. But as this Swadharma in the form of Varna ashram is well performed in India, I take particular interest in re-establishing this system among the people of this country. Hence, all my descents, whether Yuga avatars or partial avatars, are manifested in India only. Our Gurudev mentioned this many times. Because Varna ashram is practiced in India, that is why Supreme Lord is coming there directly as all avatars, Ram, Nrishinga, Krishna, like this. But in other parts of the world, he is also appearing, but according to that necessity or sending his empowered persons. Hence, all my descents, whether Yuga avatars or partial avatars, are manifested in India only. Where there is no Varna ashram dharma, there is to be found no Nishkama Karma Yoga, no Jnana Yoga, which is the end of the former. Jnana Yoga is the end of Nishkama Karma Yoga. Not to speak of Bhakti Yoga, the ultimate goal of all yogas. The slightest tinge of Bhakti that is manifested among the low-born is attributed to the sudden devotional faith accruing from the grace of my loyal devotees. So sometimes it can happen that even someone who is not following these steps of Varna ashram like this, he may, by the grace of my loyal devotees, also can suddenly get devotional faith, like that hunter by the grace of Narad, and that Ratnakar also by the grace of Narad, and Prahlad, and Haridas Thakur, like this. They are examples. There is some more commentary to this, but time is over, so we will continue this commentary tomorrow. So he comes. It is his duty to fix the situation, and it is our duty to submit to him always. Then always we will be protected. So this is our fortune. The slightest tinge of bhakti that is manifested among the low-born, or like Yavanas Mlechas like this, is attributed to the sudden devotional faith accruing from the grace of my loyal devotees. That is our fortune. Prahlad said to Nrishinga Bhagavan, we heard, they are all in Satyaguna, all these demigods, but highly in Satyaguna, but they could not pacify you. How I could pacify you? There is no other reason except that I got a tinge of devotion from your pure devotee Narad. That you saw in me, that is why I could pacify you. So tomorrow we will hear further.